Hello, fellow Paradoxians. I am Rogeru, and this week I'll be presenting you with something a little different. A spotlight on the Game of Thrones mod for Crusader Kings 2. There's a lot of new mechanics to enjoy, and while I'm no expert with the mod yet, I'll be glad just to introduce newcomers to this very detailed, alternative way to play CK2, which, to fans of the series, is generally said to be horrifyingly accurate. Happily enough, the release of this video coincides with the update for our newest CK2 patch 2.2.1, incorporating a few new features from our Charlemagne update, such as custom kingdoms, but most importantly, compatibility. Let's dispense with lengthy intros for once, and I'll begin to highlight just a bit of the awesomeness in this mod, and we'll jump right into the game. And here we are on the startup screen for the Game of Thrones mod. We are, as you can see, on patch 2.2.1. Yes, this patch was just released on November 19th, so we, of course, have the Choose Your Starting Era screen. You can choose to start on Aegon's Conquest, Robert's Rebellion, or War of the Five Kings. If you're more familiar with the events of the series, in the book or TV series, that is, you can choose to start in Robert's Rebellion or the War of the Five Kings, of course, when Robb Stark is rebelling against Joffrey Baratheon, or Robert's Rebellion, which was just before the events of the show and TV series and the books began. Or, of course, Aegon's Conquest, which was 300 years before any of all that started, when Aegon the Conqueror used his dragons to bend all of Westeros to his rule and create the Iron Throne itself. I think I'll load up as Aegon Targaryen here to show you a little bit about some of the new things that, well, some of the cool things, not new because this is a completely separate mod for CK2, some cool things that a Game of Thrones mod adds to CK2. You can see here as we load up, we have this little flavor event here. You can choose to conquer Westeros or establish a new Valyrian empire in the continent of Essos to the east. I'm just going to click through these, get through that. New flavor events that give you claims on, everything. You conquer a whole bunch of stuff. You start off on this itty-bitty island called Dragonstone. If you're a fan of the series, you'll know what that is, but let's just zoom out a little bit here and show you the map. We have Westeros here, and Essos here. Yes, that's very specific. The map has been very dutifully recreated by the developers. I think it looks great. We have, of course, the Wall, Castle Black, the lands beyond the Wall, the north, lands of Winterfell and the Starks, and the Iron Isles, the lands of the Iron Throne, Dorne, and Essos. I'm not sure how well Essos has been recreated because a lot of this is a mystery to me, but we do, of course, have Slaver's Bay, where Daenerys Targaryen is rampaging currently in the show. Astapor, Yunkai, Meereen. That brings up another good point. You can play as Daenerys Targaryen in later starting dates and choose to raid Slaver's Bay and end slavery. Use the Unsullied to do so. Or you can play as one of the slavers even and get in on the slavery game, but that's a little dark for my review here. Or you can play as the merchant state of Braavos and rule trade. Anyway, let's get into King Aegon here and talk a little bit about some new traits that were added in. You can see here that Aegon, of course, has the Dragon Rider trait. He can ride dragons, and he starts with a couple of them. All of the tooltips here in the Game of Thrones mod were really lovingly crafted, and they're easy to understand and get into. Just by mousing over it, you can see everything the dragons do, pretty much. As you die, your dragon can be inherited by your heir, or they just go and live in a cave or something. They give you more morale damage, more morale defense, and your vassals love you for it because they think you're awesome for riding a dragon, and why wouldn't they? Your dragons are actually a friend. They show up as an actual character. Balerion the Black Dread has traits of his very own. He has an age. He has a location. He has the trait Dragon. It shows you what they are, who they are, what they do. They've got no intrigue, diplomacy, or stewardship because, you know, they're big dumb beasts. All they're good for is beating stuff up. His martial score is 104. That increases as they get older, as it says in the tooltip. Anyway, dragons are cool. They're in the mod. And if that's not reason enough to play it, then all the other stuff I've showed you should be. Anyway, there's also Valerian Steel Swords, if we're pointing out traits. Valerian Steel Swords are swords that can be passed down to your heirs. They're kind of like genetic traits. If you pass down a sword to your heir, it gets removed from your character, goes to your heir, and they get all of these bonuses. I think they're pretty much uniform across all the swords, like 0.5 prestige, 1 martial, 5 vassal opinion. Characters like Ned Stark will have ice, and the Lannisters will have the melted down version of ice and later starting dates. There is a lot of cool stuff in this mod. Religion. There are a bunch of new religions added in the mod. The Valyrian Faith, for one. There's the Faith of the Seven for Westeros. There are a ton of new faiths in Essos that I couldn't even begin to wrap my head around because I don't know a whole lot about Essos. Essos is this whole extended lore stuff that fans of the series will be really interested in. You can also play as a pirate. There's this whole pirate enclave. And the developers have even gone so far to add in for players that can use the DLC for the character creator, the character customizer. You can play as a giant or one of the fairy folk, what are they called? Children of the Forest. There's been a lot of work done for this mod, even in the little stuff that a lot of players might not even get into. I definitely recommend playing this, getting into all of the stuff that I couldn't possibly get into in the 6 to 10 minutes that I have for these videos. And this, honestly, is the best time to get into it. The patch was just released for the Charlemagne Compatibility Patch 2.2.1. So, I have been Rogeru. I definitely recommend a Game of Thrones mod for CK2. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to grab it, subscribe for more videos in the future. I'll be doing more spotlights, tutorials. You want to see more from me. I don't know if I've said I've been Rogeru, but I've been Rogeru. And I'll see you next time, and good luck.